Welcome to part 5 of our 7-part series on Quick Start Guide to the practice, as I like to affectionately call it, to the Recovery Dharma workbook. And Recovery Dharma, for those of you who don't know or are just randomly finding this video and starting the workshop Quick Start Guide halfway through the video series, is a Buddhist approach to recovery from addictions of all kind. That's right, drinking, drugging, and harmful process addictions. So if you have questions about that or have want more information, feel free to go to recoverydharma.org and or follow the link in the description below. In this video, we're going to talk about inquiry and investigation. So without further ado, let's get into that. Inquiries and investigations. What exactly does that mean, and what are the applications to the practice for us? Well, when in doubt, we go to the book. So what's the book say about this? Inquiry and investigation. We explore the Four Noble Truths through writing and sharing in-depth, detailed inquiries. These can be worked on with the guidance of a mentor or therapist, in partnership with a trusted friend or with a group. As we complete our written inquiries, we strive to hold ourselves accountable and take direct responsibility for our actions using wise intentions. This includes making amends for the harm we have caused in our past. Yeah, inquiry investigation. If you're coming from a 12-step recovery program and you really were reluctant to do that inventory work in 4 and 5, well, guess what? You still got to do it in Buddhist recovery. Because honestly, come on, man. Like, inquiry investigation is such a huge part of the healing process. Looking within and figuring out what the underlying causes and conditions that drove our addictive behavior are part of any successful recovery program. I would argue that in my experience and my just anecdotal firsthand exposure, renunciation alone is not healing. Abstaining from a substance or a behavior is not enough. It's only when individuals start to do the inquiry work and start to get down into the causes and conditions and start to do that daily journaling, monthly reflections, opening up in meetings, starting to work one-on-one with either a therapist or a trusted friend or a group of friends and say, hey, these are the things I'm reflecting on. These are the things I'm thinking about. That we start to dig into the core causes and conditions that drive addictive behavior. Meditation is fantastic. Meditation is awesome. Renunciation, very important. Going to meetings, really important. And ultimately, as we explore the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, that's very beneficial. It's that education and that knowledge base of saying, this is a wiser way of living. This is implementing the concepts of mindfulness, compassion, and wise living into our daily lives. We're learning how to take it off the cushion and into the world, so to speak. But a lot of the healing process, a lot of digging into it, only starts with the inquiry process. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to the importance of inquiry process and to digging into our past in a safe, measured manner is from Sharon Salzberg that reads along the lines of, we need the courage to learn from our past and not live in it. Yeah, we need the courage to learn from our past and not live in it. And so much of Buddhist recovery and so much of recovery in general is, naming the feelings that we're unwilling to feel, identifying the things that were driving the behaviors. So much of the second noble truth, as a sneak preview, is so much as addicts is our, endless craving and seeking of pleasure and pleasant things, and our endless aversion and avoidance of anything unpleasant or uncomfortable. And so it's digging into, like, why is it like that we sought this escapism on a regular basis? From the Buddhist teacher Tara Brach, what are the feelings that you're unwilling to feel? There's also a well-known American mythologist, Joseph Campbell, has a number of famous books on mythology and the themes of mythology through all stories through life. And to paraphrase one of his well-known sayings is that the treasure you seek is in the cave you least want to enter. Or it might be the treasure the gold you seek is in the cave you refuse to enter, something along those lines. So maybe I'll actually put the real quote up during this part of the video. Who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But when it comes to the fifth portion of the practice, having committed to renunciation, meditation, getting into meetings, starting to explore the Buddhist practices of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, and figuring out, what does the practice look like to us? What do these teachings look like to us in our application, our recovery? Ultimately, we do need to start to do some self-inquiry work. We do need to start answering a number of wonderful questions that are outlined in the Recovery Dharma book. Each section has its own inquiry questions. At the very back of the book, there's a long list of them as well. In my personal experience, and so this is just some anecdotal personal experience, I have found it very beneficial to come up with my own inquiry questions. Where I do appreciate and respect many of the questions of the Recovery Dharma book, I think it's of great benefit to, as Jack Kornfield recommends, to just sit quietly with ourselves occasionally. And, once you can find that quiet place, whether it's in nature, whether it's at home, whether it's, somewhere else, take some time, quiet your mind, quiet your heart. And it's at that point that your heart will let you know, what questions do you need to ask yourself? What are the questions that you need to address? What are the feelings you're unwilling to feel? And start to, address questions such as, what is storytelling mind? What are these stories that I've told myself? Are they true stories? Are they fabricated? And start to do some digging. I mean, it's really the heavy lifting of recovery. The inquiry and investigation work is something that we do for a lifetime. And one of the things I do love about Sangha, about community, is that the inquiry investigation work very much is done in meeting settings and just the meetings outside of meetings. I've had so many friends who've shared very deep, very personal, traumatic things and non-traumatic things where I can say, oh yeah, me too. Me too. I too have experienced this pain. I too have experienced this life experience. And it's through us opening up to them and them opening up to us that we're able to explore these thoughts, these concepts. And back to the key idea. This is where the healing happens, to where it becomes more than just words on a page, and it becomes more than just people sitting in a meeting together. It's where we start to have real connections and real conversations and, get into the real meat of recovery. So this is a heavier part of the program. You don't need to jump in to the deep stuff immediately, but I do highly recommend that you start journaling as soon as possible. And journaling should be a fun act. Journaling to me is a fun activity. I love journaling. I find morning pages to be quite relaxing and quite relieving. Every single morning, I just write for about 5-10 minutes, where I just say, how am I feeling? And I just check in with me every morning. As woo-woo as that sounds, I check in with me every morning and I write to the prompt, how are you feeling this morning? And I write, I'm feeling this way. And I check in. And then I do some gratitude journaling of saying, what are 3 things at least that I can be grateful for on a morning basis? I highly recommend that. And then I set 3 goals for the day of saying, what would make today awesome? Because I'm a goal-oriented, action-driven individual. I love to live in the solution rather than dwell in the problem. I acknowledge the problem. I embrace the problem. I understand the problem. But for those of us who love Recovery Dharma for being a program of empowerment, a program of change, and a program of living our best lives, for me, I love to do my morning pages where I just say, how am I feeling this morning? I check in and do some gratitude. I have my sight, I have my hearing, I have, a home that I can safely live in. And then I do goals for the day of, may I have a great day at work, may I eat healthy, and may I go see some friends at a recovery meeting this meeting. And we can talk about all 3 of those in other videos, but generally speaking, I think inquiry work and daily journaling and daily spot check inventory work is very beneficial for anyone who is trying to live a more mindful an intentional and a skillful way of living. And when we do these things, we are much, much less likely to indulge in harmful, destructive, chaotic behaviors that ultimately spiral out into addiction. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for getting this far along in the playlist. If you're going through the whole playlist, if you're finding these videos of benefit, hit the like button, not because for yourself, but it helps other addicts in recovery find our channel. And yeah, so that's how YouTube works. If you like these videos, hit the like button because it helps other addicts find these videos. We sincerely appreciate your support of the channel. We're a young channel, and yeah, every single like really significantly helps this channel at this point. So yeah, and also just have an awesome day. You're awesome, you're amazing, and love you to death. And in the next video, we're going to ultimately talk about the importance of Sangha, wise friends and mentors, and just generally speaking, the importance of community as we go along our recovery process. And that video should be coming up right about now? No, maybe